What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your $1,400 third stimulus check update. I want to thank each and every one of you guys who wished me happy birthday yesterday on my 40th birthday. Yeah, the big one, the 40. We went to dinner last night, and as soon as I bit into the first piece of bread I was eating, wham! My back tooth broke pretty much in half. It's one of those pieces of bread, real soft on the inside, but it's like hard on the outside. Broke my tooth in half. So sometimes life gives you lemons and you have to make lemonade out of it. So hopefully I will be going to the dentist later today because the tooth doesn't hurt me, but it has a jagged edge that is like scraping my cheek. So I had to go to the store and like buy like some denture putty or something like that to just stop the sharp edge from touching my cheek. So yeah, so far my 40s is off to a fun start. But you know what? You got to think positive. It always could be worse. And honestly, I'm looking forward to positive days. So you should do the same. I wish you guys the best because remember, when you life gives you lemons, make lemonade out of it. So with that being said, we have several different things to talk about today in the third stimulus check package update. First, we're going to go to the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, who will give us a few question and answers on the third stimulus check package.
Senator Manchin has proposed an $11, or says he will propose an amendment that would make the minimum wage increase $11, not the $15 that President Biden has proposed. Would he sign a coronavirus relief bill that had an $11 minimum wage in there?
Well, the president proposed $15 because that's what he feels is right for the American workers, I should say, and the men and women who are working hard, just trying to make ends meet. And that's why that number was in his package. It hasn't even passed the House yet. We expect that to happen this weekend. There'll be an opportunity for Senator Manchin and others to put forward ideas and proposals, and we'll see where that process lands. But he proposed the $15 increase for a reason, and he stands by it.
And he said that he would be open to compromise with this. So is $11 something that he would be willing to compromise with Manchin on?
Again, there's going to be a process that works its way through the Senate. We don't even know where it's going to end up outside of when it works its way through the bird bath. I just want to keep just using that phrase here. And we expect that to happen in the next couple days, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Okay, my last question is on the meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau. Canada wants to get vaccines from the U.S., mainly the Pfizer plant in Michigan, but so far the U.S. has a contract with them that their first 100 million doses are going to the U.S., and they expect that, according to the advisors, by the end of June. So does that mean Canada should not expect to get vaccines from the U.S. until at least this summer, until at least June?
Well, the president's first priority is ensuring every American is vaccinated. And our focus right now is getting shots in arms at home. He looks forward to engaging with the Prime Minister, as we've already discussed. And there are multiple ways we can work together on a COVID response. All options are on the table down the road, but I don't have anything to update you on about Pfizer providing vaccinations, other than we remain committed to getting Americans vaccinated.
So you don't expect him to give Prime Minister Trudeau any kind of timeline of when they can expect to be able to receive vaccines from the U.S. and Canada?
I don't anticipate that, no. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Two questions, if I might. The first one, polls have shown that 3/4 or so of Republicans still apparently believe that the election was stolen. This is what the president calls the big lie, and obviously that has been connected to the events of January the 6th, which some liken to terrorist action and so on. So another serious issue. How does the president feel about former President Trump going to CPAC this weekend? He will have a huge audience. It's an enormous platform. Does the president think that's actually a problem, a threat, in his view?
Well, the president's view is that we've spent a whole lot of time, not we, but in this briefing room, talking about President Trump over the last few years. I guess for good reason, he was president, and that his view is we're going to spend the time focusing about the American people and our objectives to help them and our commitment to helping them. So I wouldn't say he's thought a lot about the former president's visit to, I was going to say performance, maybe that's appropriate, at CPAC.
But if he goes with the former guy's strategy, which I guess you could boil it down to that, obviously former President Trump isn't just going to sit on his hands. He's got his message to give out, and the point is this message, according to President Biden, is literally dangerous. So does he have a problem with such a high-profile person giving out what he thinks is a dangerous message?
Well, we haven't even seen the former president speak at CPAC. Obviously, President Biden has spoken to his concerns about the rhetoric of the former president, how he was unfit for office. That's why he ran against him and why he defeated him. But we're not going to spend too much time here focused on or talking about President Trump.
So a couple of things there. The $15 an hour minimum wage is really a big battle over the past week or so, and whether or not it makes it all the way to the finish line and passes this third stimulus check package with that provision in there, or if that provision gets taken out, is really a coin flip at this point. The $15 an hour minimum wage could or could not. It is a lot going from $7.25 current minimum wage to all the way to 15. However, some states already have $15 an hour minimum wage, but I guess that's determined on the state level. Let me know your thoughts on the minimum wage. Should it go all the way from $7.25 to $15? Now, remember, we just seen a counter proposal from the Republicans, namely Mitt Romney, who is proposing a $10 an hour minimum wage. That would be a 50% increase from $7.25. I do believe that we are due for a minimum wage increase because we haven't had one in 11 years since 2009. So we are due for some type of minimum wage increase. However, if we more than double the federal minimum wage, going from $7.25 to $15 an hour over the course of the next 5 years, that will significantly raise prices across the board for almost everything. Walmart, McDonald's, fast food, regular food, pretty much everything. So I think that will probably have a bad consequences to the economy if we more than double the federal minimum wage in just 5 years. But, if you're making minimum wage, that might be a very good thing for you, but it would be offset with higher prices across the board for almost everything. Also, it was interesting what they just said there about former President Donald Trump, that 75% of Republicans think that in a recent poll that the President Donald Trump won the election and that the election was basically stolen from him. So, yeah, apparently Republicans do not have a lot of confidence in the current system, the current election system. But it's kind of weird because it's like, when you're in an election, one person has to win and one person has to lose. I mean, there's only one person that can win and one person that can lose. I mean, it's a 50-50 shot. So, I mean, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments.
Go ahead.
Yes, two questions, if I may. The first, we're approaching tax season, and by some estimates of the unemployment assistance that states have paid out, more than half of it Americans have not withheld taxes on. So is the administration concerned that there may be millions of Americans who are going to face a surprise tax bill, some of whom are still unemployed? And has the administration considered changing the way the IRS looks at least the pandemic-related unemployment assistance, treating it like disaster aid, and so it doesn't have taxes withheld?
That's a really interesting question. I would certainly send you the Treasury Department for that. I'm happy to help you make a connection there to discuss that further.
Thanks, Jen. I have a couple on COVID, but first I'd like to follow up on the homeownership question from the top.
Sure.
So the president's economic plan from the campaign trail had a provision in there for the $15,000 first-time home buyer tax credit. Mm-hmm. Can we expect the president to push for that in not the American Rescue Plan, but the recovery plan that's to come shortly afterward?
Well, our focus right now is on getting the American Rescue Plan through. We expect the House to pass it this weekend, and then it will go to the Senate. And as we've been talking about a little bit here, there'll be a robust discussion about members' views on different components of it. I don't expect we're going to preview or make necessarily final decisions on what comes after. But as you noted, there are a number of components of the Build Back Better agenda that the president talked about on the campaign trail. Obviously, home ownership, caregiving, infrastructure, strengthening access to affordable health care. Those are all components that are under discussion. The order, the size, the timeline, that's what has not been determined at this point.
That's interesting there. She's talking about the next stimulus package called the Build Back Better package, a infrastructure package, which will have multiple stimulus provisions in there. A possible first-time home buyer tax credit of $15,000 for first-time homebuyers to help them buy their home. A tax credit of $15,000. That is amazing. So that could be, as we've seen there, we've seen President Biden has campaigned on that. It's one of the things he wants to do in the future. So that'll be something to look forward to. I will keep you updated about that on this channel, as well as other things coming out in the future.
And then on COVID, Jake Sullivan's been expressing some concerns about the World Health Organization's latest assessment, specifically because China has not really handed over any of its data from the early months.
Yeah.
So when can we see some traction on a U.S.-led assessment, like Sullivan's been suggesting, or perhaps some details on how we can force the world community to exert pressure on China to open up its doors and be transparent?
Well, you're right that one of the concerns that we've expressed from here is a lack of data sharing. We've not seen the initial data or the base of data that the report has been based on, and we have concerns and questions about the process used to reach the final conclusions. What we've been calling for and will continue to advocate for is an open, transparent international organization led by the World, investigation led by the World Health Organization. And certainly getting to the bottom of what happened here, preventing it from happening in the future, is a topic of conversation and a range of conversations the President has, the Secretary of State, our National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, has, and I expect those will continue.
Yeah, I don't think China's going to ever be honest with us about what happened in Wuhan, China, when the virus outbreak originally happened and sharing data. I don't think they're ever going to be honest with us, but that's my opinion. You can let me know yours down below in the comments. My wife just said, we'll find out years later and then they'll make it into a book or a TV series. So, yeah, that sounds about right. She just said, just like Chernobyl. By the way, we've seen a really good TV series on that. What was that on? On HBO. Was it called Chernobyl? Yeah, very good show. It was only like one season, only a few episodes, but man, it was really good. Let me know if you've seen it. So the U.S. House of Representatives is set to vote on the final vote on the third stimulus check package this week that will currently include the $15 an hour minimum wage. What they're going to do is they're going to vote on this and try to pass it in the House, which they should be able to do because the Democrats have enough votes to pass this on their own in the House. As long as they don't get more than 10 Democrats to say no, they can pass this in the House with the $15 an hour minimum wage provision. However, then once it passes the House, it's going to go to the Senate the next day. And well, if we don't get all 50 Democrats in the Senate to say yes on it, if we get one single Democrat to say no, because we're not expecting a single Republican from the Senate to vote yes on the third stimulus check package bill at all, if one single Democrat, such as Senator Joe Manchin or Kristen Sinema, says no, then they may have to amend the bill and basically either probably take out the $15 an hour minimum wage or possibly go with a compromise of $10 or $11 an hour. Remember, the Republicans have now unveiled their own version of a minimum wage increase at $10 an hour. Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat from West Virginia, said that he'd be willing to do up to $11 an hour in his state. So that kind of seems like the middle ground there, $10 to $11 an hour, which honestly is still about a 50% increase because we're at $7.25 right now. So you take half of $7.25, which is about $3.67 or something like that, would be a 50% increase. So $3.67 plus $7.25 would be very close to $11. So that's about a 50% increase, which would probably happen over the next couple years. 50% increase is a lot. I mean, I know if you're making minimum wage, generally you're not in the best of jobs and you're trying to move forward with other things. But for people that are making minimum wage, listen, I used to make minimum wage back in the day. I worked as a server back in the day also, where I made $2.13 an hour plus tips. So, I mean, trust me, I get it. But obviously, I moved up in my career and went on to be an entrepreneur. And, we're on YouTube. We sell products on Amazon. I've actually been a full-time entrepreneur for 20 years. And health insurance alone is crazy. We pay $1,000 a month for health insurance because, well, we don't have a company that pays it for us. So, yeah, trust me, I get the whole argument on the minimum wage. I can see both sides of the equation. I can see the business owner side paying your employees, and I can also see the side of the person making $7.25. But I can also see the side of raising of cost of goods is just going to go up. I mean, if we go from 7.25 to $15 an hour in 5 years, you can bet your bottom dollar that the price of everything, gas, milk, food, fast food, groceries, everything is going to go up. But what won't go up is if you are currently in a home and you have a mortgage, that price won't go up if you're not on an adjustable rate or anything like that. But if you're on a 30-year mortgage and you're in your home payment, that price will not go up because it's locked in. If you're in a car payment, that price won't go up until you go to get a different car down the line or something like that. So some things do stay fixed, like a home payment and a car payment, but pretty much everything else is probably going to go up with the cost of living. So let me know your thoughts. I personally think like people on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, I know there's a lot of you guys that watch this channel. Well, I think that the minimum wage is not really good for you. If you're not working, you're not making a minimum wage. It's not. It's pretty much not good for most people that don't make minimum wage. So, and for anybody that doesn't make minimum wage, it's probably not a good deal for you. Now, if you make near $15 an hour now, say you have a pretty decent job and you make $15 an hour and minimum wage in your state's only 7.25. Well, then once it gets to 15 in several years, you'll probably gravitate up more towards 20 if you are a more skilled job than minimum wage. It would only make sense that your pay would go up in the cost of living because, well, if a minimum wage person at McDonald's or Walmart's making $15 an hour and you're in a more skilled job, a couple years down the line, it would only make sense that you're not going to be at $15 an hour also because, well, you could just go to a different job because, supply and demand. If you have skills and you get paid more, you would just go to a different job. So hope that makes sense. The Republicans do not think that there's going to be any political blowback for voting no on this third stimulus check package. We're currently expecting every single Republican in the House and the Senate to vote no on the third stimulus check package based on statements and the preliminary votes that we've seen through the reconciliation process, basically extra voting processes that we had to see and pass to pass this through the reconciliation process, which is basically 51 votes in the Senate, so the Democrats can pass this bill on their own. Not a single Republican from the Senate or the House voted yes on any of the third stimulus check packages. And Republicans don't think they're going to get any political pushback or any blowback on that at all. They think they're just going to hold their ground, and none of their constituents are going to be mad at them at all for not voting yes for the third stimulus check package, which does include $1,400 stimulus checks for adults, $1,400 stimulus checks for all children, and $1,400 for adult dependents and college student dependents. However, they will be getting the $1,400 stimulus checks sent to the person who claims them as a dependent. Very similar to how an adult that has two children will get $1,400 for them and $1,400 for each child. So $1,400 times 3. But the child stimulus checks, they go to the adult. They don't go to the dependent. So just keep that in mind. Included in this is an additional $3,000 to $3,600 child tax credit, which is an increase of the $2,000 it was before. And the IRS is going to actually make a special payments of that monthly starting in July of $250 per month for a year, or $3,000 for children ages 6 through 17, and for children under the age of 6, $3,600 or $300 per month, again, starting in July. So that's $3,000 to $3,600 in addition to the $1,400 stimulus check. So $5,000 or $4,400 for children over the age of 6 with the combination of the child tax credit checks and the child stimulus checks. We also have over $30 billion of mortgage and rental assistance, utility assistance, property tax assistance in this bill, as well as an unemployment boost of $400 per week that will go until the end of August. There's so many different things in this third stimulus check package. I will help you guys how to claim them. There's an increase of SNAP, WIC, and EBT, 15% more, and for several more months. I will help you guys how to claim these once they pass the third stimulus check package, as well as the other things we cover on this channel, such as the $10,000 of student loan forgiveness that will likely be coming out in the near future, possible Social Security raises of $200 per month for the next 1 to 2 years is also a possibility. I will keep you updated on all these things. Make sure to subscribe down below and join our family. It's completely free to do so. Just click subscribe and then click the bell icon to all notifications if you want to get notifications when we go live every day, which is 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And share this video with your family and friends so they know what is going on with the next stimulus check. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have dozens of students that have replaced their 9-to-5 income selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.